Does adding an optic to your pocket pistol help it shoot like a larger class of pistol? Let's hit the range and compare the Bodyguard 2 with an optic attached against the Hellcat 380 with no optic attached. I know, both are technically in that same micro compact class, if we believe the manufacturers, but we'll come back to that in our next video. For today's purposes, while the manufacturers both have them in the same class, we're considering the Hellcat 380 up a size. We have some paper plate targets set up out at 7 yards to start today. In the middle of those paper plates are some 3-inch targets, which will be our target zone. The paper plates will help us determine how close we were or are to our target zone. So let's go ahead and start with our Hellcat 10 shots. Bottom left target for the first magazine. Here we go. Okay, maybe 5 of 10 right target, and we'll see. Here we go. That felt like 10 of 10 in our target zone. Right out the gate, we can say the addition of an optic to our Bodyguard 2 gave it a noticeable and significant accuracy potential bump. It easily outshot the Hellcat 380 on the slow measured shooting front today. The optic we're using on our Bodyguard 2 today is the new Viridian RFX1 Custom for the Bodyguard 2. It is a budget-friendly micro green dot reflex sight made specifically for the Bodyguard 2. We recently did a 1,000-round review on this optic. If you haven't seen that yet, a link can be found here and in the description of today's video. Before we compare and contrast optic experience versus the Hellcat 380 experience, let's first head back to the range and see these two pistols go head-to-head once more, this time with some double taps mixed in. I've set out fresh 3-inch sticky targets on our bottom paper plates. We're going to do a 10-round magazine from each firearm at their corresponding plate. We're going to mix in a couple double taps in that 10-round magazine and see how many, if any, hits we can put on that target zone. Here we go. Starting with our Hellcat bottom left target. Okay. Saying the same number in the 3-inch target. With the optic, we can see our target easier and get on target quickly and easily for follow-up shots. But the less recoil and slightly larger size of our Hellcat, which give it some greater controllability, and the Hellcat did better in what we'll call the rapid fire shooting. Besides helping with accuracy in general, one area where the optic helped was when shooting a group of targets. It helped make my first shots on the second, third, fourth, etc. targets faster and more accurate. I'd say on par and maybe even better than I can do with a larger pistol with iron sights. The reliability of our Bodyguard 2 has been unaffected by the addition of the RFX1. The felt recoil, well, it is also unaffected and remains at the very manageable levels with the Bodyguard 2 already had. But on the effect of shootability, adding the optic to our Bodyguard 2 obviously affected its size. With the RFX1 attached, the Bodyguard 2 is larger than it otherwise would be. For some, that may affect concealability. Probably a few people already commented on today's video about how it doesn't make sense to put an optic on a pocket pistol. Depending on the size of your pockets, adding an optic to your pocket pistol may size it out of pocket range. But not everyone pocket carries the pocket pistol. Because I inside waistband carry my Bodyguard 2, the addition of the RFX1 has no effect on the concealability of my Bodyguard 2. And as a bonus, my Seaway holster still works perfectly with it attached. For me, my Bodyguard with the RFX1 attached is as concealable as it is without it. If we want to split hairs, for someone pocket carrying their Hellcat or their P365 or almost anything else, adding an optic has the same potential to push the size out of pocketable range. Circling back to the question asked at the beginning of today's video, does adding an optic to your pocket pistol help it shoot like a larger pistol? In terms of accuracy, yes, it does. In terms of recoil, nay. And speed, well, that depends, but it is at least as good on that front, I'd say. Those who say there's no point in putting an optic on a pocket pistol will also probably say it pushes its size up in class in general. If we use the adjective version of pocket, I don't think it affects the size classification at all, but that's a topic again for another or our next video. There are plenty of reasons to carry a pocket pistol with an optic. They're light and easy to carry. They're still very concealable. They're reliable. They're accurate. Even well beyond the 5 or 7 yards pure pocket proponents purport. Well, anyway, what are your thoughts on having an optic on a pocketable pistol? Are you a fan of having an optic on your carry piece, or do you prefer the iron sights? Let us know in the comments. That seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's presentation, like it, share it with your friends and family, maybe drop a comment on there. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you'd like to help us make more of these videos in the future, look into becoming a member. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice day. Ruger 6.5 Creedmoor. This is the American Hunter Predator Edition. Here we go, 200-yard water jug. The crew drilled it on their first shot with the 223. So I have to hit it on the first shot or I lose. Here we go.
Nailed it right off.